1 minute to speak and on a topic that is not on the agenda, except if you are here as a candidate and you want for 1 minute, this would be the time, or you're here to speak about a candidate and you are not a member or an alternate of the Central Committee, because members and alternates will have specific time in this process to speak.
I'm Kate Daniels, and I'm going to read briefly something from the preamble of the State Democratic Party platform, that we support candidates who demonstrate excellence in education, universal affordable health care, gun violence protection, protecting California's natural resources through the use of renewable sources of energy, and continually developing innovative measures to counter global warming and pollution. This body and Monterey County Democrats have spent a lot of time focusing on the Green New Deal, including at the fundraiser last weekend. I had the opportunity to work with Wendy Askew to bring Monterey Bay community power to Monterey Peninsula. For that reason, this room is powered by carbon-free energy. It's the single greatest step we've taken as a county toward moving toward renewable energy. On the Board of Supervisors, that only happened because there were 2 women who had vision on that Board of Supervisors. The men on the board were...
So Margaret said, I'm a long-time Democrat from Salinas. Matter of fact, I started Salinas Valley Democratic Club. I've been very involved in my community on multiple issues, whether it's global warming, criminal justice reform, farm workers, a whole array of things. And I'm very active. And I'd like to say tonight that I want to throw my support to Wendy, because what I have seen coming out of Wendy, having gone to school board meetings over on the peninsula, is that Wendy has listened to people of color. And to me, not all candidates do that. I have had a different experience here in Salinas with being listened to as a person of color, with being disregarded when I speak up for communities, working class communities. I would like to also support somebody who has supported Democrats for a very long time and didn't just maybe change party affiliation in order to get your support here today. So I am here for Wendy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Jane Parker. I'm the County Supervisor for District 4, and I'm here to ask you to endorse Wendy Askew as the person to replace me in my position. One reason is because for a long time I was the only woman on the board. We now have 2. We don't want to lose that. And Wendy is a woman, and she's a good one. From your perspective, too, she is the candidate before you who has been active in Democratic clubs for 5, 8, 10 years. And that, I think, is a track record that you want to support. She also has done more to promote and implement Democratic Party values through the programs and services in my office for the last 10 years, and I'm just going to start on a list, and when the dinger goes off, I'll stop. Healthcare coverage for people who were left off of the Affordable Care Act. Those are people here without documentation. The continuum of homeless support, working on housing that's affordable to workers with electeds on the Monterey Peninsula. Early childhood development initiative.
Thank you so much. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Betty McAdams. I'm going to be continuing with regards to the men on the Monterey County Board of Supervisors did not want to join the JPA, and neither did the City Council of Salinas. They wanted to go it alone because they didn't feel they had enough power and votes on the JPA board. They were not forward-thinking and they lacked vision. The women, and I have to say the staffers of the women supervisors like Wendy, saw the opportunity to work collaboratively with other jurisdictions. We knew that if we did not join, we would lose the single most comprehensive step forward we could take as a county to combat greenhouse gas emissions. We didn't lose, and you all now have Monterey Bay community power, and as a result, the lights on this very room are powered by carbon-free electricity.
My name is Ruth Shapiro. I'm a Democrat here for Wendy. I will be continuing. Every year Wendy has served in the District 4 office. She has fought during budget season. She has openly and transparently fought for the health and human services protections that are on the chopping block every year. Wendy is a fighter for our interests. not special interests, and if you aren't paying attention to what is happening at the Board of Supervisors as we speak, then you should be ashamed. Then you should be ashamed to even vote tonight. What does that state? Terrifies me. I'm sorry I'm nervous. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Josh Askew. I'm president of the Serious Firefighters Association, Local 1270 here in the city of Phoenix. I'm here tonight just to speak out in support for Steve McShane. I've been in our union's leadership in the fire department for almost 20 years, and I've never been able to work with a city council member who is as accessible as Steve has been and who has the ability to bring others together. We had a really neat event where we had a couple of locals that weren't seeing eye to eye within the city and council members that weren't seeing eye to eye. And together we put together an event. And it was to acknowledge all their work, and we brought them together. And I think that's kind of the disconnect in a lot of our government right now, is the ability to shine the other side and not be able to mediate and meet in the middle. So I just wanted to speak on behalf of Steve's support.
Thank you.
Yvonne Stone, I'm a longtime member of the Monterey County Democratic Central Committee. I have been an activist in this county for years for the people. And I am glad to say that there's a bill that's talking about rent control, because I have a subcommittee for rent control. And I just hope that this is going to help the people in our communities to stay and live in their communities. Because just not too long ago, one of our veterans who lived out in East Salinas, African American, burned alive because he was given an oxygen tank, the big ones. He had no caregiver, no transportation. His mother had to leave the county because her rent was increased $300 a month. So the people that are working on this, I'm also the member of a state committee on rent control. And I called Jane Parker's office and talked to Wendy and got information. I'm just glad to say that something is moving in this county.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm George Riley from Monterey. I just want to introduce Askew, so we haven't seen it. Okay. I'm here to endorse Wendy. There's a history of candidates who say a lot and they also do a lot. But who goes out of their way to pursue issues? Not very many. They pursue issues for their constituents, for their geographical area, but not when the issue crosses a boundary. They don't necessarily go out and work. Wendy does that. Wendy's going to be a huge asset. So I say support Wendy, please.
Melody Krislov, Director of Public Water now. I'm here to support Wendy. And I just want to say that a lot of you probably saw what happened on Monday with all the press we got for the elected signing a letter about the Coastal Commission denying Karnes' project. Well, behind the scenes, without being asked, Wendy had offered to help me get some of those signatures, which I'm really grateful for, because it was a big job to get 20 electeds to agree on one letter. Anyway, I hope that Wendy gets this.
Okay, so the chair will call him. Raise your hands high if you are waiting to speak. Okay.
Adam Bolaño Scout, I'm a resident of Watsonville. We've been working on water issues and energy issues in Monterey County since 2006. We have been fighting water privatization. Callahan has the highest water rates in the nation. Thanks to all of you who have stood up and taken a stand against that. Wendy has been doing that. I support Wendy.
I'm Wendy, Root Askew. A lifelong Democrat. My volunteer professional work has always been rooted in uplifting values of education, of affordable, quality health care, of gun violence and violence prevention, and protecting our natural resources. I take seriously my responsibility as a steward of hardworking taxpayer dollars. The list of Democratic campaigns and committees that I've worked on and worked with has been long, encouraging good people to run, supporting them early when they do, helping them with fundraising, canvassing on their behalf. I have a list, but I'm not going to read it. I first became involved with the Monterey County Democrats, working with many of you in 2008 on the presidential campaign for President Obama. What we did then was we took people who showed up wanting to work on Obama's campaign and helped redirect them into local races. We did trainings on phone banking. We organized hundreds of volunteers on voter registration, on grassroots canvassing. Winning this seat matters. thank you for your consideration tonight.
Thank you. And
Good evening, I'm Rosalind Green, lifelong Seaside resident. I am here to advocate for Wendy Askew. She is absolutely amazing. I can't say more than everyone else has already said, but I will say that she has been extremely personable in healthcare issues, in homeless issues, and as a parent, I have to say she is our champion in education issues on the peninsula. So please endorse her tonight. We love her.
I'm Stu Samuels. I'm on the Central Committee by proxy, and I'm here to speak in behalf of Wendy.
I'm speaking on behalf of Steve McShane, who's very sick and not be here tonight. Who we endorse should be determined by the candidate's values and their ability to get things done. Their accomplishments should reflect their and our values. The endorsement from the MCDCC should not simply be a reflection of how long or how active they have been in our committee. How many meetings they've attended or tables they've staffed should not play into who we endorse. How could the average voter take our endorsement seriously if we care solely about our own interests rather than the community as a whole? Our endorsement should reflect who we think would be the best supervisor. From the day I was sworn on to Maine City Council, I have led with the same values we share as Democrats, whether it's working neighborhood activists to make their communities and schools safe, fighting for fair wages and benefits for the working families, or leading the effort for clean and renewable power. I live the values that we as Democrats stand for. As expected after the label council, I should have hopefully the support of special organized labor. And I've shown.
My name is Jacqueline Simon.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am the Vice President of North Monterey County Fire. Proud to have won my last term. You know, I was thinking about what we need to do tonight and what's important. I was a member of this committee with Vince way back in the day. We got a lot done. We had a lot we had to do. I think you're now at another point when we really need to have solid, sincere leadership. Wendy has that. She's worked with our communities. As I'm a professor, I work in the community. I help in the area of entrepreneurism, helping people, political issues related to the justice issues in this county. And it's just important for us to be in a position where we have someone we can call and talk to, and they answer the phone, and then they get out there in the community and work with you. So I just think this is a very important time for us to make good choices. I endorse Wendy.
Westwide Salinas. I want to also endorse Wendy, mainly for integrity purpose. I mean, basically because I heard that the Steve McShane statement, I had to say that when there was a RV excavation eviction off of Lapis Road, Wendy and Jane Parker's office was very collaborative in making sure there was a stay before they were just evicted. They started a safe parking program. And in contrast, we also had an RV ban in Salinas where McShane came to the meeting and kind of took ammo and used it against us, used information against us, ended up voting for the RV ban. So for integrity purposes, so just a smile isn't enough. You actually have to follow through and have that integrity, and Wendy has that.
Okay, so in District 4, the candidates are Steve McShane, again, alphabetical order by last name, Steve McShane, Alex Miller, and Wendy Ruth Askew. And I will now ask our chair of the endorsement subcommittee to...
Madam Chair, the endorsement committee could not reach a unanimous decision on the 4th District supervisorial race. We went through approximately 4 rounds of voting and could not reach consensus as to the candidate. We went through on an endorsement and could not achieve a four-hour vote on that. There was a long discussion involving all the members present. We discussed what we felt to be the values of the Democratic Party and who had answered questions and who had responded in writing. The questionnaire and the in-person interview was used as the sole deciding factor as to who to endorse. So, Madam Chair, the endorsement committee, after much belabored and many votes, recommend Alex Miller for 4th District Supervisor.
Okay, thank you. He put his name in nomination, that's the actual motion, is to nominate Alex Miller. So that was done, correct? So now that requires a second by somebody who was not on the endorsement committee. That's the process. So is there a second for Alex Miller? Okay.
Motion does.
Okay, so that's.
Seems like it might.
That's that. So I'd like to call for other nominations.
First.
You can second it.
All right.
Alicia, okay.
I'd like to nominate Wendy Root Askew.
I think Lynn's got his hand up first.
Thank you.
So Alicia nominated. Okay, and then
Guys, this is serious. We have people supporting on both sides in the room. So let's let the chair navigate the process, please. It's
Okay.
difficult.
Okay, now we're going to ask for further nominations, and then we will have the vote. Okay,
I
Mary.
nominate McShane, Steve McShane.
Okay,
I second.
so we have a second, somebody who was not on the committee.
One.
Oh, you know what? No, wait a minute. Mary Lou, actually, you can't do that because you were on the endorsement.
Yeah, but I
committee.
sustained it, I didn't vote it.
But that's okay. You still may be able to. Is there someone else that would like to make that motion and seek a second?
I nominate Steve.
Okay, Juan Duran is making the motion.
Okay. And we have a nomination for Steve McShane and a second by Lupe.
I think we have a wonderful candidate here, and she'll serve us very, very well.
There are two motions on the floor. One for Steve and one for she.
Whatever she wants.
Right, so who is she speaking?
Who are you speaking to? She said she.
I would like to support Wendy also to the 4th District.
Alicia.
I am supporting Wendy for all the reasons that we heard here tonight. And for my personal reasons.
Okay, thank you. Gary, you want to speak?
I support Wendy personally, but I'm here on behalf of Senator Monty, and he supports Wendy as well. And I know we have a policy of all things being equal, we support the one candidate, but all things aren't equal. She's actually the superior
Ron?
In spite of a lot of conflicts amongst in my own person, not representing laborers, so having lived on the Monterey Peninsula for 63.5 years and seeing what's been done to it by not providing adequate water supply and expecting us to continue to live for another 24 years like we've been living for the last 40-something, I find it very difficult to almost support anybody in this. But having said that, knowing who some of the supporters are back there, it's disgusting. But anyways, Wendy is the superior candidate in this race and is the most electable, and I think will carry the Democrats to where they need to be.
I'm going to speak on behalf of Wendy. It's hard for me not to get emotional about this because if there's a candidate that checks all the boxes in my book, then it's Wendy. We worked together in 2008 on the Obama campaign that she mentioned. I've never seen anyone get mobilized volunteers and order them around and then join it as much as Wendy can. So she is just above and beyond. I do think it's critically important that the legacy that this committee built and worked on to get Jane elected, frankly, to the seat, gets continued. And if we don't support Wendy, and if we don't elect Wendy to that seat and don't walk for her, then we are actually at risk of moving backwards. And I don't think we can afford that. So I think we have a fantastic candidate who checks all the boxes and then some. So, voting for Wendy.
Thank you. Kelly?
I'm very strongly in favor of Wendy. She's tireless, really. She works everywhere. I see her everywhere. She does wonderful work. And most important to me, she's a board member for FUSD, and she's the only board member I've found that really listens to us, that treats teachers respectfully. And I really, really want her to win supervisor, but I'm sure going to miss her on our board. She's wonderful, 100%.
Thank you.
My vote is for Wendy. I think she's shown how tenacious she is in the current board that she serves. And you need that. You need that fire, and you need that someone to be persistent, and someone to be courageous and take those tough votes. Right now, we need that, and so I'm going to vote for Wendy.
Thank you.
So, having been involved in this endorsement process and all of this, I have to say I am profoundly disappointed in our democratic system and democratic process. There's such unethical behavior that occurs that I'm actually questioning where we stand. The lack of our values and leadership when it comes to skullduggery and behind-the-scenes relationships is disappointing at best. While I believe it may be good intentions by many people, something's gone very, very wrong. And I hope that as a party, we can start to first self-reflect. Am I really in alignment with my values, and what am I compromising to get those values achieved? And it's troubling. And I think we're really not that much better than the Republicans. And we as a party are as responsible as the Republicans for getting Trump elected. And we sit here and we talk and we say we want different.
Time, sorry.
I'm not going to be able to vote because I'm an alternate, and my always reliable primary, Alan Hoffa, is here. But I don't see the reason for all this happening. It's very clear. Only one of those candidates is really worth considering. And I'm shocked at the recommendation that came out of that committee. And we should definitely endorse Wendy for this.
Thank you. Well.
Yeah, I've worked with Steve McShane for so many years, and I've really had a really good collaboration with him. He's always there to listen, and we worked on many issues in my office with Steve McShane.
Okay, thank you. Elena?
Yes. And all the years that I've been on this committee and has been treated differently because of outspoken African-American that really loves her community and does everything possible to represent the constituents. Supervisor Parker and Wendy have always been supportive of my concerns. And just recently, I called and talked to Wendy about this rental issue. And I've never been treated any differently there, but here, always. And I sincerely support Wendy Askew.
Thank you, Mom. Marie-Lou? Yes, the reason I voted for McShane is because it doesn't matter if you just became a Democrat. A lot of people turn Republicans as much as they turn Democrats or independents, But it doesn't matter to me. To me, it matters what he has done, what has he done in the community, what is his plan. I read his whole review of what his plans were. It's almost the same as Wendy's or Alex, They all believe in housing and the need for lowering the rent and doing work in District 4. But you know what? One thing about McShane, he has worked with home workers. He knows the need. Selena is almost like 80% home workers here. And it's good to know what Selena needs because almost all the purviews come from hardworking home workers that live here in Salinas. And it's good to know what has he done in the community to help with home workers, housing, and rent, and also he's done a lot of work in the community. He's been involved in work with neighborhood watch, or he knows what's going on in the community. Thank you.
Yeah, what was pretty much it.
For Steve McShane. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I've also worked very closely with Steve McShane, although I'm sure she's a appropriate candidate as well, but I think, in my own words, I think he was a confused Republican. But I worked with him for many years, and in the community, he's very involved in Salinas. I couldn't say for Monterey because I don't live there. So I'm in support of Steve McShane.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I'm representing the Progressive Democratic Club. We have endorsed Wendy. I will be casting my vote for Wendy. I will just add personally, I've worked with both of them. I'm glad that Steve has become a Democrat. I think that's a good thing. We should be a Big Tent party. And I think they are both good and credible candidates, but I am supporting Wendy, and I think that her work on car homelessness was really big. She's been working on affordable housing, and those are two, I think, critical issues.
Esther?
I'm also supporting Wendy, specifically because she works a lot on affordable housing with the Regional Housing Coalition that was formed on the peninsula. And I just know how hard she works at everything that she does. And I don't think that I wish I could say the same thing about the candidate in my district, which is why I abstained. And if I could clone Wendy, I would be happy to have her in multiple positions if possible.
Yeah, so very briefly, I'll just say that I disagree with the notion that that it's not about how long you've been a Democrat, because we're talking about the party's endorsement. So what have you done for the party? We're not talking about the people's endorsement, that's the vote. The party's endorsement is how good of a Democrat have you been. And if that's for a day and you knocked it out of the park, wonderful. It is a Big Tent. But if you've only been here for a couple of months and so all you've done is ask for something, then that's not going to be good enough. Also, I don't agree with the dubious nature of Steve's waffling, having supported Monterey Downs as a Salinas council member when the city of Seaside did not want Monterey Downs. Like Wes said, with the RV bans, but now claiming that he supports homelessness initiatives. He opposed Measure Z, but suddenly he's a Monterey Bay Community Power trustee. Well, which one is it? He's going to flip on us as Dems, just like he flipped on his constituents.
Good evening, everybody. This is Elena. I'm an alternate out of Urrutia. I live in the 4th District and also live in South Salinas. And looking at both candidates are good. But in regards to some of the issues that I work closely on, criminal justice reform, pesticide protection around schools, immigration, and labor issues, between the two candidates, Wendy is the better candidate.
I want to thank the committee for the work that they did. I appreciate all what you guys did. Even the recommendation that you made. You could have took an easy way out, maybe easy choice, might have been a wise choice. But I'm saying we need to say that out loud, that they stood on what they came up with. It's for us to do what we want to do as a wider board. So I don't take nothing away from you. I want to thank Steve for throwing his hat in the ring. It takes a lot of gumption to throw your hat in the ring and run for supervisor. So I want to get that hat up to him. But I want to say for Wendy, I just want to say that she's prepared. She's prepared herself. And she's prepared to lead this district. So, that's just the bottom line.
Thank you. Anthony?
I'm going to support Wendy Askew because really she's the only qualified Democrat in the race, and I'm sorry, but I have a printout from Monterey County Weekly here to where Steve McShane hosted a Tea Party event at his home. So I don't think you could go from being a Tea Party member to now being a Democrat, especially when you voted against sanctuary cities, you voted against affordable housing, you voted for bans on public sleeping, you voted for bans on RVs. I'm sorry, but as a Latino, as a son of immigrant parents, his policies, in my opinion, are a direct affront to me as a person. And I'm sure he's a nice human being and he makes a good council member in some areas, but we need a county supervisor who is really going to be there for the entire community, and I feel that Wendy Askew is that supervisor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Regina, and I strongly am supporting Wendy Askew. She is smart, she is true, she is sincere. Her heart is in all the right places, and her mind is in all the right places. So I encourage those of you who may be undecided that Wendy is the only qualified Democrat. And let me remind everybody that this committee voted on a resolution a few years ago. And while I don't think we should vote just because of gender, but if some of us believe that they're very equal, which I cannot believe any of us truly believe that, we're going to support getting women into office because we're still not represented properly. So we passed a resolution here several years ago, and I know that to be true because I was the one who brought the resolution forward. Thank you.
In the interest of time, I agree with my constituent. Thank you, Anthony and Regina. So in the interest of time, just ditto. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with a lot of what's been said here. I did want to correct some things. Resolution for women came up. I sat on the planning commission. I chaired the Salinas Planning Commission. I sat on the planning commission for years, and Steve McShane is my council member. I find him to be very engaged, very involved. He does a great job. I don't always agree with him politically. I too am glad that he's come over to the Democratic Party. To me, that says he's had a transformation from the times when a Yes on 8 sign was in front of his building, or when a church he was attending was espousing homophobic things from the pulpit. So I like the idea. I believe in transformation, so I believe that Steve has transformed. I'm glad that he is now a Democrat. I will be supporting Wendy. She's ready to go, and she has not been a member sitting at this table, by the way. So that is not the reason. It's because of who she is and what she has done and what she's demonstrated.
I just want you to know that I'm here to support Wendy. There was an intention to recall me 4 times, and it says, during your tenure as trustee for Area 4, you've been grossly negligent in the execution of your duties as trustee, overseeing the construction project for the new high school, Rancho San Juan. That was a project labor agreement. I voted for that. Steve McShane helped Rick Giffen try to recall me. Steve McShane helped Rick Giffen run his campaign against me in 2018. I won with 53% because the community knows this is bullshit, that I do a good job and that I represent the people. And I confronted Steve McShane. Anthony Rocha was there with me, and I asked him why he did this, and he didn't deny it, okay? So this was just recently, and I was endorsed as a Democrat. I have worked with Wendy. She's helped me with 2 projects with Save Toro Park, and go look at it on Facebook. And she has also worked with me closely on the California School Board Association's Equity Committee, where we are working towards equity for all kids in the state of California. So Wendy, you have my support. Thank you.
I'm Paula, and I'm an alternate, and I was the treasurer of this organization for 11 plus years. Most of you know me. I've already sent out an email on why I support Wendy. I'm not going to go there. I was having technical difficulties. I'm sorry for misformatting. I want to say a few things about Mr. McShane. In his questionnaire, he mentioned he was a member of the Monterey County Democrats. That is us, and he is not a member. He's never paid dues. He's not been voted on. So he misstated that he was a member of this body to start with. I think if you're going to ask for our endorsement, you should understand that. Also, fiscally, he and Wendy raised the same amount of money as of June 30th. He only has 26% of that money left. Wendy has 70% of it. So Wendy shows the better fiscal responsibility.
Thank you. Did I miss anybody back here? Yes.
I nominated Steve because I think he's best positioned to represent both sectors in the Mexico Historic District. And there's some bad history surrounding how the districts were created initially to dilute the voting power that Salinas had. So that's why Steve's ability to represent both the Salinas side and I think the Peninsula side is important to me. Opinion makers in the community that I run around with are supporting Steve. That includes the Teamsters Local 890. That includes the firefighters that you heard today. And I've heard he's got strong support with the United Farm Workers. Lastly, I'm a retired farm worker attorney. Used to be the executive director of the Center for Community Advocacy. And there were a couple of occasions where we had an issue that was important to farm workers and to the Salinas family. And we asked for the vote of the representative from the peninsula in this district, and both times we were rejected. So I'm with Steve.
Okay, thank you. And James?
I'm James Green. I'm primary from District 1 for about the last 10 years. As many have pointed out, Wendy is awesome and she has my endorsement. Now as to McShane, he is apparently was one of the founding members of the Monterey County Tea Party. He hosted, as you pointed out, one of the founding events. Also, in 2012, when Barack Obama was running for re-election and the biggest campaign issue of the day was Obamacare, McShane gave $800 to the California Democratic or Republican Party. And he has not given anything comparable or anything at all that I can find to Democrats, either candidates or organizations or causes. So, vote Wendy.
Thank you. I missed anybody? Who's a member and wanted to speak? Okay.
I have a question, a simple question in order. How many people were on that committee?
I believe there were 7.
He identified them before. Do you want to know the names again?
No, thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I believe one person was absent for the, okay, so we're going to do the voting. The next step is there anybody who's going to be abstaining from this vote?
You have a question?
Okay, Linda,
Dom.
Dominic.
Linda, Dom, Linda.
Anybody else abstaining?
3 people. So everybody else will be either voting yes or no.
Okay, so now we need to count the number of people who are going to be voting. So raise your cards up high. And who's counting? Caspian and Bill?
Don't keep us back there.
That's correct. And you got 30? Was it 30?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so now you will be voting. We'll do it in alphabetical order, and then the final option will be no endorsement. So the candidates are Steve McShane and Wendy Askew, and then the no endorsement. So I'll ask for votes.
How many people are abstaining?
3 are abstaining.
And 30 are voting.
And 60% is required.
And what is 60%?
18. You only had 32.
So,
Yeah.
33, yeah.
so we've got a few changes in the numbers because people arrived late. Okay, so all of those who are voting for Steve McShane, please raise your cards up high so we can count. Bill and Caspian are both counting.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so 5 for Steve McShane. All those voting for Wendy Askew, raise your cards up. And again, Caspian and Bill are counting. All right, Wendy Askew has our endorsement.